Relationships, while beautiful and fulfilling, often come with challenges. One of the most significant issues partners face is emotional distance, which can gradually creep in unnoticed. Emotional detachment is not always dramatic or obvious. Sometimes it happens in subtle, small shifts that only become apparent after some time. These shifts can be confusing and painful, especially when the love and connection you once shared with your partner seem to be fading. Understanding the signs of emotional withdrawal can help you identify when things aren't quite right, allowing you to address the situation before it escalates further. When your partner starts pulling away emotionally, you might notice changes in their behavior or communication style. These changes can manifest in various forms, from a lack of affection to becoming distant in conversations. The absence of effort in maintaining a healthy relationship often signals that something is wrong, but many people struggle to recognize these red flags until the emotional disconnect has already caused significant strain. It's not always about a single incident, but rather a series of ongoing shifts in your connection. Sometimes the cause is stress, personal issues, or even unspoken dissatisfaction in the relationship, but the impact is always the same. The bond between you starts to weaken. If your partner begins to show less interest in your life, cancels plans, or becomes more secretive about their personal space, it could indicate emotional withdrawal. They may stop being affectionate, neglect your needs, and avoid engaging in meaningful conversations. It's also possible that they might become defensive when you bring up concerns about the relationship, or they could avoid discussing the future altogether. Each of these behaviors is a potential signal that your partner is retreating emotionally, and if these signs persist, the relationship may start to feel less fulfilling, leaving you questioning what went wrong. One of the most painful signs of emotional detachment is when your partner stops showing affection, both physical and emotional. Affection is the glue that holds a romantic relationship together, and when it's withdrawn, it can create a sense of isolation and rejection. If your partner no longer makes an effort to show love or care, it may indicate that they no longer feel the same level of investment in the relationship. Additionally, when they stop sharing their thoughts, feelings, and daily updates with you, it can feel as though the emotional connection you once had is slowly fading away. It can leave you feeling as if you are living with a stranger, uncertain of where you stand or where the relationship is heading. It's important to note that emotional withdrawal doesn't always mean that your partner has stopped loving you. It could stem from a variety of issues: stress, anxiety, personal growth, or unresolved conflicts. However, regardless of the cause, these signs are worth paying attention to. The longer the emotional distance continues unchecked, the harder it can become to rebuild the connection and trust that once existed. Recognizing these signs early on and addressing them with compassion and honesty can provide an opportunity for both of you to work through the issues together. It's essential to have open communication and ensure that both partners are equally committed to the relationship, as ignoring these signs can lead to long-term emotional disconnection and, eventually, a breakup. If you notice any of these signs in your relationship, it's crucial not to ignore them. Instead, approach the situation with understanding and a willingness to communicate. Addressing the emotional distance can help both partners find clarity and determine whether they're ready to rebuild the relationship or if it's time to part ways. 1. They stop initiating conversations. When your partner stops initiating conversations, it's a clear sign that the connection between you two might be weakening. In a healthy relationship, both partners usually make an effort to stay in touch and share their thoughts or feelings. Communication is a two-way street, and it often starts with one person reaching out. However, if your partner stops initiating chats, it can feel like the effort is only coming from your side. This lack of initiative can show in small ways, like not sending good morning or good night texts, or not starting casual conversations throughout the day. If you've noticed that you're the one always beginning the chats, asking how their day was, or trying to keep things flowing, it might indicate a shift in their interest or emotional investment. In some cases, It's not just about texting or calling less. It could also reflect in more important conversations. When your partner stops starting discussions about plans, feelings, or important matters in your relationship, it can signal emotional withdrawal. They may still respond to you, but the lack of effort to connect first can leave you feeling neglected and uncertain about where you stand. This change can happen gradually, so you might not notice it at first. However, over time, it can create distance between the two of you, leading to misunderstandings or feelings of loneliness within the relationship. 2. They seem distracted or distant during conversations. When your partner seems distracted or distant during conversations, it can indicate a lack of emotional engagement. In any relationship, meaningful communication requires both partners to be present, both physically and emotionally. If your partner starts zoning out, checking their phone constantly, or looking around the room instead of focusing on you, it suggests their mind may be elsewhere. This behavior could occur during important talks or even casual exchanges. For instance, when you're sharing something personal or discussing something that matters to you, and they respond with one-word answers or seem disinterested, it shows they aren't fully involved. It can make you feel unheard or unimportant, and this growing emotional distance can harm the bond between you two. At times, they might still be present in the conversation, but appear mentally absent. You may notice their responses don't align with the topic at hand, or they may offer vague, off-topic replies. This can be frustrating because you're left feeling like they don't care enough to engage with what you're saying. Such behavior can also be a sign of deeper issues, like emotional fatigue, stress, or unresolved conflicts, which prevent them from being emotionally available. If this happens regularly, it can create a sense of isolation in the relationship, leading you to feel as though you're talking to a stranger rather than someone you're emotionally connected with. 3. Their responses feel shorter or less engaged. When your partner's responses become shorter or less engaged, it often signals a shift in their emotional investment. Initially, in a healthy relationship, conversations are lively, full of detail, and offer insight into each other's thoughts and feelings. However, when someone is pulling away, they may start offering minimal responses, such as one-word answers or general replies that don't contribute much to the conversation. This change can be subtle at first. For example, if they once responded with enthusiasm or interest, they might now reply with, "Okay, sure," or "I don't know," showing a lack of effort or care. The once vibrant back-and-forth exchanges may start to feel more like an obligation rather than a desire to connect. Shorter responses can also show in the way they communicate. If they're avoiding deeper conversation topics or only responding to surface-level questions, it indicates they're not fully engaged or interested in exploring your thoughts or feelings. It can create a sense of emotional distance, leaving you to feel like you're putting in all the effort to maintain the connection. In some cases, this change in their responses could also be a result of stress, emotional exhaustion, or dissatisfaction with the relationship, leading them to withdraw. If it becomes a recurring pattern, it can leave you feeling unimportant, unheard, or disconnected, leading to further frustration and confusion in the relationship. They cancel plans more often. When your partner starts cancelling plans more often, it's a sign that they might be pulling away, either emotionally or physically. In any relationship, making plans together is a way to show that both people are interested in spending time and building their connection. However, if your partner frequently backs out of these plans, it can signal a shift in their priorities or feelings toward you. At first, cancellations might seem like innocent reasons, work, personal commitments, or feeling under the weather. But when these cancellations become a regular occurrence, it starts to feel less like an occasional inconvenience and more like a pattern. They might cancel last minute or provide vague reasons that don't seem to add up. The lack of effort to reschedule or make up for the cancelled plans can also point to disinterest in maintaining the relationship. This behavior might not just be limited to big plans like dates or trips. It can also apply to smaller commitments, like spending time together after a busy day. If they begin choosing other activities, friends, or even work over spending time with you, It suggests they might be withdrawing emotionally. When this happens, it can leave you feeling hurt, rejected, and unsure about where you stand in their life. If they stop making time for you, it may indicate that they no longer prioritize the relationship the same way they once did. The constant cancellations can erode the sense of connection and trust that a healthy relationship needs to thrive. 5. They avoid deep or meaningful conversations. When your partner starts avoiding deep or meaningful conversations, it can be a sign that they are distancing themselves emotionally. In a committed relationship, discussing personal thoughts, feelings, and future plans is essential for maintaining a strong connection. These conversations allow both partners to understand each other better, share their vulnerabilities, and grow together. However, if your partner consistently avoids these kinds of talks, it can suggest they are either not as invested in the relationship or are dealing with unresolved emotions. For example, if you try to talk about important topics like your future together, their feelings, or challenges in the relationship, and they either shut down or change the subject, it shows a lack of willingness to engage on a deeper level. This avoidance can manifest in various ways, such as deflecting serious questions with humor, giving vague or surface-level answers, or simply ignoring your attempts to start these discussions. It can also show up when they respond with frustration or irritation, as though they feel overwhelmed or uninterested in addressing what's on your mind. Emotional avoidance often stems from fear of confrontation, discomfort with vulnerability, or a lack of emotional investment. In some cases, they might be trying to avoid difficult topics because they don't want to deal with potential conflicts or the truth about their feelings. When this pattern continues, it can create a sense of emotional distance and leave you feeling like your needs for deeper connection and understanding are being neglected. 6. They start spending more time with friends than with you. When your partner starts spending more time with friends than with you, it can be a sign that they are emotionally withdrawing from the relationship. Initially, balancing time with friends and a partner is normal, but if this shift becomes more frequent or noticeable, it can indicate a change in priorities. If they're choosing to hang out with their friends over spending quality time with you, it might feel like they're avoiding your company or no longer see value in the time spent together. This can be especially hurtful if you've made plans, but they cancel in favor of seeing friends or participate in group activities without including you. In some cases, it could be a sign that your partner is not fully emotionally invested in the relationship. They may not feel the need to spend time with you as much anymore, or they might be seeking emotional support or fulfillment from other sources, such as their friends, rather than within the relationship. This imbalance in time spent can create feelings of loneliness or neglect, especially if you're left feeling like the second option after their social circle. While it's healthy for individuals to maintain their own friendships and personal interests, the key is in finding a balance. If this shift is occurring consistently and without efforts to include you, it might reflect a deeper issue in the relationship. It's important to communicate your feelings with your partner to understand the reasons behind this change and assess whether both of you are still on the same page regarding the relationship's future. 7. They don't make an effort to impress you anymore. When your partner stops making an effort to impress you, it's often a sign that they may no longer feel the same level of attraction or investment in the relationship. In the early stages of a relationship, both partners usually put in a lot of effort to keep things exciting, whether it's through thoughtful gestures, planning surprises, or just trying to make each other happy. However, when someone stops making that effort, it can suggest they no longer prioritize maintaining the spark in the relationship. This lack of effort can show in different ways. For example, they might stop dressing up for you, stop planning dates, or stop doing little things that once made you feel special. They may also seem uninterested in your opinions, not paying attention to things you care about, or not making an effort to meet your needs. At times, they may also stop complimenting you or expressing appreciation for the things you do. This shift can leave you feeling unvalued and unimportant, as though you're no longer a priority to them. The absence of this effort can make the relationship feel stagnant, as if you're stuck in a routine instead of continuously growing together. While it's normal for the intensity of effort to change over time, a complete lack of effort can signal that the emotional connection is weakening. It's important to address this shift, as it could indicate deeper issues in the relationship that need to be discussed and resolved. 8. They are no longer affectionate, less hugging, kissing, or holding hands. When your partner becomes less affectionate, showing less interest in hugging, kissing, or holding hands, it can be a sign of emotional distance or a shift in their feelings toward the relationship. Physical affection plays a key role in maintaining intimacy and connection in a romantic partnership. It's a way to express love, comfort, and support. If your partner suddenly stops showing affection, it can leave you feeling confused, neglected, or uncertain about where you stand. This decline in affection might begin gradually. Initially, they may only stop initiating hugs or kisses, and then it can extend to not holding hands or having physical closeness in everyday moments. If you notice that they are no longer as interested in cuddling on the couch or kissing you goodbye, it can feel like a loss of the intimacy that once brought you together. There could be several reasons for this shift, ranging from stress, emotional exhaustion, or unresolved issues in the relationship. Sometimes people withdraw physically when they are no longer emotionally engaged, or when they are struggling with something personal. It can also be an indication that they are no longer attracted to you in the same way they once were. Regardless of the cause, the absence of affection can lead to feelings of isolation, leaving you wondering if they still care. It's important to have an open conversation about this change, as physical intimacy is a key element of any healthy relationship. Understanding why the affection has decreased can help both of you address any underlying issues. 9. They don't show interest in your day or life updates. When your partner stops showing interest in your day or life updates, it can be a sign that they are emotionally disengaging from the relationship. In a healthy partnership, both individuals take an active interest in each other's lives, whether it's about how the day went, challenges faced, or personal achievements. These conversations help maintain a strong connection and provide emotional support. If your partner is no longer asking about your day or seems indifferent when you share updates, it may indicate that they are no longer as invested in your life. They may listen without asking follow-up questions or respond in ways that feel dismissive or uninterested. This shift could also happen in situations where you are excited about something, but they don't engage or show enthusiasm like they once did. For example, if you tell them about a new project at work, a personal milestone, or a fun experience, and they give a short or distracted reply, it may feel like they don't value or care about what's happening in your life. Over time, this lack of interest can create emotional distance, making you feel unheard, unappreciated, or disconnected from your partner. This change can stem from various reasons: stress, burnout, or growing emotional distance. If this pattern continues, it may lead to feelings of loneliness in the relationship. It's essential to address this issue with your partner and explore why they have stopped showing interest in your life, as it could be a sign that they are withdrawing emotionally. 10. They avoid physical intimacy. When your partner starts avoiding physical intimacy, it can be a significant sign that they are emotionally or physically distancing themselves from the relationship. Physical intimacy, whether it's touching, kissing, or more intimate acts, is a fundamental way for couples to bond and express affection. If your partner consistently avoids it, it may point to underlying issues that need to be addressed. At first, this might be subtle. Maybe they don't kiss you as often or they avoid holding hands. Over time, it could escalate to them avoiding more intimate moments, like cuddling, sleeping close, or engaging in sexual activities. This avoidance can leave you feeling rejected, confused, or unwanted, especially if intimacy was once a significant part of your connection. There can be several reasons behind this change. It could be due to stress, emotional exhaustion, dissatisfaction in the relationship, or personal issues that they aren't addressing. Sometimes, physical intimacy decreases when one partner is unhappy or has lost their attraction or emotional connection. Alternatively, they may be dealing with feelings of discomfort or insecurity that prevent them from being physically close. When this becomes a consistent pattern, it can cause a rift in the relationship. Physical intimacy is an essential part of a romantic bond, and the lack of it can lead to feelings of loneliness and emotional disconnection. If your partner is avoiding physical closeness, it's important to communicate openly and honestly about how this change is affecting you and the relationship as a whole. 11. They don't prioritize your needs or emotions. When your partner stops prioritizing your needs or emotions, it's a clear indication that they might be emotionally withdrawing from the relationship. In a healthy partnership, both individuals make an effort to support each other. Whether it's in times of stress, joy, or uncertainty, they show empathy and care by addressing the other person's needs and emotional state. However, when this effort fades, it can leave you feeling neglected, unimportant, or disconnected. If your partner is no longer listening to your concerns, dismissing your feelings, or not offering support when you need it, it signals that they may no longer value your emotional well-being as they once did. For instance, if you're having a tough day or sharing something important, and they don't acknowledge your feelings, or worse, act indifferent, it can create a sense of emotional isolation. In some cases, they may be so focused on their own issues or feelings that they fail to recognize or care about yours. They may stop asking how you're doing, or fail to check in on your emotional state. If this behavior becomes consistent, it can lead to a breakdown in communication, trust, and emotional intimacy within the relationship. A partner who doesn't prioritize your needs or emotions may also be indicating that they are emotionally unavailable, either due to personal reasons or a lack of interest in the relationship. It's crucial to address this behavior, as it can deeply affect your emotional connection and the overall health of the relationship. Open communication about how this makes you feel can help bring awareness to the issue and allow both of you to explore solutions. 12. They become defensive when you ask about the relationship. When your partner becomes defensive whenever you ask about the relationship, it's often a sign that they are avoiding difficult conversations or are uncomfortable with the direction things are heading. Healthy relationships are built on open communication, where both partners can express their feelings, concerns, and expectations. However, defensiveness can prevent meaningful dialogue, making it hard to address underlying issues or strengthen the bond. This defensiveness might show in various ways. They may interrupt you, deny any problems, or become angry or hostile when you try to discuss the relationship. Instead of calmly addressing your concerns, they might blame you, dismiss your feelings, or turn the conversation around to criticize you. This behavior can leave you feeling unheard, invalidated, and frustrated. When someone becomes defensive, it often means they are avoiding taking responsibility for certain issues, whether they are afraid of confrontation, feel guilty, or are not ready to face uncomfortable truths. In some cases, it could also indicate that they are emotionally distancing themselves and do not want to confront the reality of the situation. Consistent defensiveness can create a toxic communication cycle in which important topics are never addressed. This leads to unresolved tension, misunderstandings, and feelings of emotional distance. If your partner reacts defensively when discussing the relationship, it's important to approach the issue calmly, emphasizing your feelings and the need for honest communication. If the behavior continues, it may point to deeper issues that need to be resolved for the relationship to move forward. 13. They become more secretive with their phone or social media. When your partner becomes more secretive with their phone or social media, it can indicate that they are hiding something or becoming emotionally detached from the relationship. In the digital age, phones and social media are common ways to stay connected, share thoughts, and communicate with others. If your partner suddenly becomes overly protective of their devices or starts limiting your access to their social media accounts, it may suggest that they're either trying to hide something or are no longer as open, and transparent with you as they once were. For example, they might start taking their phone into another room when they receive calls or texts, or they could lock their phone more frequently and act defensive if you ask about their activity. They may also start spending more time on social media or chatting with others, but avoid letting you see who they're talking to or what they're posting. These behaviors are often signs of secrecy, and secrecy in a relationship can breed mistrust and insecurity. The change in their digital behavior could reflect a growing emotional distance or even a sign of infidelity, though it's important not to jump to conclusions without open communication. Sometimes, the need for secrecy could stem from other reasons, like guilt or shame over a certain issue, or they could simply be pulling away from you emotionally and want to maintain their privacy. Regardless, this behavior is concerning and suggests that they may not be as transparent or emotionally invested in the relationship as they once were. If you notice this shift, it's important to address the issue by having an honest and respectful conversation about the boundaries of trust and privacy in the relationship. Understanding why this change has occurred is crucial to determining the health of the relationship and whether both partners are still committed to being open and honest with each other. 14. They stop sharing their thoughts or feelings with you. When your partner stops sharing their thoughts or feelings with you, it can be a significant indicator that they are pulling away emotionally. In any relationship, sharing personal thoughts, emotions, and experiences is crucial for maintaining a strong bond. It allows both partners to feel understood, connected, and supported. However, when communication starts to dwindle and your partner becomes less open, it may suggest a lack of trust or interest in nurturing the relationship. This change can be subtle at first, such as them not telling you about their day or not confiding in you about what's going on in their life. Over time, they might stop sharing even more personal or meaningful things, such as their hopes, fears, or struggles. If you find that you're constantly the one initiating conversations about emotions or major life events, it can create an imbalance and make you feel isolated in the relationship. When someone stops being open with their partner, it can signal that they are either emotionally unavailable, disengaged, or are facing difficulties they don't feel comfortable sharing. Sometimes, this can stem from feeling misunderstood, fearing judgment, or not feeling emotionally safe enough to express vulnerability. In other cases, it may indicate that they no longer see the relationship as something worth investing in. This lack of sharing can lead to a growing emotional distance between the two of you. If they no longer turn to you for support or share the little details that once mattered, it can leave you feeling disconnected and unsure about the future of the relationship. It's important to have an open discussion with your partner about this change, as understanding why they've stopped sharing their feelings can help address any underlying issues and rebuild emotional intimacy. 15. They give vague responses when you ask about future plans together. When your partner gives vague responses when you ask about future plans together, it can be a clear indication that they are uncertain about the direction of the relationship or are emotionally detaching from it. In a healthy, committed relationship, partners typically discuss their plans for the future, whether it's about vacations, living arrangements, or long-term goals. These conversations help both individuals feel secure and aligned in their shared vision. However, if your partner avoids providing clear answers or gives non-committal responses like, "we'll see," or "I don't know," it suggests they may not be fully invested in planning a future with you. They may change the subject or offer a vague, dismissive answer instead of engaging in a meaningful conversation about the relationship's future. This can happen for various reasons. They might be unsure about their feelings or may not see the relationship progressing to a deeper level. Alternatively, they may be experiencing doubts about the relationship, but are reluctant to openly discuss their concerns. Their reluctance to discuss future plans can leave you feeling anxious, unsure, and uncertain about where you stand in their life. When your partner avoids planning a future together, It's important to have a candid conversation about your respective goals and the direction of the relationship. If they continue to give vague responses, it may signal that they are no longer emotionally invested in a shared future, and it could be time to reassess the relationship and your own needs moving forward.